Hello YouTube, this is More Man 82 here. A bit of a different video on a Sunday morning. I don't know what I'm going to call this, but anyway, it's going to be a cooking video. If you're like me, I don't know, you like to work on projects, you like to do your scrapping, you know, like everybody else, you work or whatever, and you're on a budget, you don't have that money to spend, you don't like wasting food, things like that. Well, I'm just making a quick dish there to pop in the oven for my wife and I to enjoy when she comes home for lunch. And I just want to give you an example of something. If you're like to do projects, if you work, if your schedules are not the same, and you still want to eat healthy, cooking big meals, like making one big meal. I like to make one big meal on Sunday and put enough in the pan to last for several meals during the week. If you're a gearhead and you like projects, one of the things is you like to spend time outside, you like to do your own thing, but you get hungry really fast. You spend a lot of time out there and you don't realize time is going by until you're just ready to chew on the side of the counter because you're so hungry and nothing is made and you don't feel like making anything. Anyway, this is something, a quick thing you can make. If you're on a budget, I'm gonna start. These are pieces of beef. They're thicker pieces. They're really thick. They're not the best kind. They do have some fat on it. But if you have anything like this, which is on sale at the store, it might not be. I did wash my hands before I'm touching this. I wash my hands after, before I touch the veggies. Yeah, if you have a cut of meat that's not very good, you can choose to cook it like this instead of like cooking it on the grill where it'll become like boot leather. You just put it in the pan, a little grate, lift it off the bottom, put some water in the bottom. Always put some water, no matter if it's a roast or any kind of piece of meat. Helps the meat to keep moist and it doesn't dry out if you cook it for longer. Now this was 50% off at the store. It happened to be grade AA beef, but I don't usually buy that stuff. It was cheap. It was 50% off, so it cost about $7 for these two big pieces, which is pretty good. Usually meat is really expensive. And add to that, I just usually use the vegetables that are left over in the fridge from other meals during the week. You don't want to waste anything. And as you can see, I put a lot in there. Stuff you can use. I mean, potatoes are pretty cheap. Lots of cabbage. Cabbage is really cheap. We have 70 cents for a big head of cabbage. These are turnips. And these are larger Brussels sprouts. You cut them in half so they cook well. And of course you have your carrots and whatnot. What I like to do to put on the meat before, a variety of things. First, some parsley. Put a little bit of parsley on that. And I find this is the best. This is what I like to use. But I mean, you can try to use pretty much anything that you really want. I like to use some minced onion flakes. I don't really like onions myself, and I hate to cut up full onions to put in these things. So I just put a little bit like that. It's okay if you put some in the side there. And I usually put steak spice. From this brand, Clubhouse Steak Spice. Try not to put too much. And because I like the smell, summer savory, I put just a little bit of it. You usually put this in soups, but it smells awesome, and I just usually like to put a little bit on there. And there you go. Now, what I also like to do is put a little bit of your favorite kind of barbecue sauce. It isn't barbecue season, but it does help. You know, for a little bit of the flavoring, especially if it's a really thick piece. And because you're cooking this all in the same plate, all in the same dish or the same pan, you could go ahead and put the vegetables in here, especially the vegetables will take quite a while. These are thawed out. They've been frozen. They're thawed, but they won't take very long to cook. So make sure you put your vegetables. You can put your vegetables around there. Just make sure when it's cooked, make sure everything is cooked and there's not, because you don't want to contaminate your vegetables with raw food. Like, this is not a rare dish. You have to really cook what you have, right? So you just put your ingredients in there. This will take a while because I'm using one hand. You could spread them out. I usually put the vegetables that are going to take the longest to cook on the bottom, just so they're not raw just so everything is cooked at the same time. You can put them however you want, really. I just put them all around there. And I'm gonna go ahead with carrots. I should have put these in the bowl. That's alright. Put carrots in there. And then what you'll do is, as you can see, I'm just filling the whole pan. Like, you might end up having some of them on top of the steak or whatever, but that's alright, as long as the temperature in the whole pan is high enough to kill any bacteria or whatever. Make sure everything's cooked. And what you'll do is, things with like cabbage and Brussels sprouts, they don't take that long to cook. So once you finish putting your hard vegetables on top, put your Brussels sprouts or your cabbage on that, because or even add it later on if you can, before you put it in the oven. So when you put this in the oven, I usually put it at 350, and it'll probably take about an hour. And this will last us. I mean, these are big pieces of meat. My wife and I probably have 4 or 5 meals, maybe 3 or 4 meals each on this, maybe. At least you have everything in the fridge. You cut it up, you put it in little dishes and everything, get it ready. So when you're really, really hungry, you just, if you're in from work or you're out in the shop and you want to continue your project, you don't want to spend time cooking or whatever, but you're really hungry, you just grab something out of the fridge and put it in there. It's a great way to do something on the budget, especially, cuts of meat that are not that great. When they're on sale, they're good in here because you have all the flavors, and then you have your water, so it cooks it really nicely anyway. The taste comes out great. And getting rid of your leftover vegetables in the fridge instead of losing them, having to throw them out because they're just too old. It's a great way to just save money and cut down on food waste. Anyway, if you like this video, I don't know what I'm going to call this series, but if you like it, give it a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments if you like this type of video on my channel, and if so, I will make more videos. Until next time.